felt that in my chest. I was swallowing a bit of my drink and it went down really hard. Ugh. Has that ever happened to you? Anyway, it's time to do Reading Rainbow. Oh yeah, I hate it when that happens too. Like, now it feels like it's stuck in my chest and it's uncomfortable. Okay, where should we look through first? Reading is for suckers! Let Kanika and Stella do the work for you! Yeah! No. Let's go through this. Flip through the veins of Scarlet. A history of Scarlet Hollow coal mines. You know what? Silas Scarlet, soldier, woodsman, leader. Enjoy the awareness of your esophagus. Bodies are weird, man. Thank you, Thover. Flip through the veins. You know what? Might as well look through this. Forced into retirement at the age of 50 due to a war injury from his time in the Indian Wars, exasperated by his short stint serving as captain of the Confederacy, Silas Scarlet was also lost his eldest two sons to the bloodiest wars, leaving his third eldest son, Andrew Jackson Scarlet, to take charge of the mine. Under his leadership, the mine prospered, undoubtedly in part due to the growth of the railroad industry. Managed to evade the coal mine union for decades, making them one of the most profitable mines in the country. Yes. Andrew Scarlet built the surrounding town into what it is today, with expensive stone buildings, a bustling main street, and overseeing it all an elegant Scarlet estate that was, until 1889, the largest and finest feat of architecture in the region. Who here likes my reading voice? Culminating in the tragic collapse of 1918, it was found that Charles Shaw, a co-manager of the mine, has loosened security measures to increase production during World War I, resulting in fatal collapse and the deaths of over 160 men and boys, some as young as 10. The casualties included Andrew Jackson Scarlet's eldest son, Theodore, who has taken over for his aging father during the bustle of the war. His son, Enoch V. Scarlet, managed to pull the mine from the brink of ruin, thereby saving the town. So this is how your family made its fortune. Oh my god, I actually recognize, from Magic Girl, Madoka, that's on, it's on this lady's, oh god, that's on Kanika's laptop. I might as well, flip through, Silas Scarlet, Woodsman Leader. Madoka Magica, yeah. Silas Scarlet was born to Colonel Everett J. Scarlet in 1818, one of the 12 siblings. He grew up in eastern Northern Carolina during the tumultuous time of the state's history, and not much is known about his life before he joined the army in 1836. He quickly rose to the ranks, in part due to his family's connections, but also due to a particular ruthlessness for which he has received the nickname Bloody Silas Scarlet. The federal government granted the now Captain Silas a tract of bounty land in exchange for his service in the Indian War, and he has settled into the hills of Northern Carolina in 1841. That land would become Scarlet Hollow. Man, every time we say Scarlet Hollow, something weird happens. but it started as simple log cabin built by Silas's own 2 hands, occupied by his family of 10. Silas and his wife Mary Joseph Scarlet and their 8 children. Logging business brought many workers and fellow landowners to the hills, but it wasn't until Silas discovered the rich seams of coal running underneath the entire region at Scarlet Hollow was really put on the map. He saved what he could and brought the surrounding hillside at the great discount, cleverly hiding what he knew about the land's true value. Thus, he had all the resources to found Scarlet Hollow, now famous coal mine. You're finished with this one. Flip through Appalachian folk monsters. Few entries catch your eye. Tommy knockers! Oh my god! Does anyone remember the Stephen King book Tommy knockers? Oh my god. Tommyknockers originated in the Cornish mythology, spreading to the United States when Cornish immigrants began working in the Appalachian mines. Their name for the knocking that can be heard from seemingly within the walls before a cave-in. According to some, the knocking serves as a benevolent warning before you get screwed. Others believe that the creatures take stolen hammers to the supports of the mines and collapse them on whoever is unfortunate enough to still be inside. They are traditionally thought to be impish, leprechaun-like beings, but some claim they are spirits of dead miners forever cursed to haunt their final resting place. Wampus Cat! Often linked to Cherokee legends, some cite the Wampus Cat as originating with the story of a woman who sought vengeance against a monster's cat demon for driving her husband mad. She hunted it down by wearing a bobcat mask, tricked it into using its own vile magic on itself, freeing the people of the region from its evil. Others say that the creature comes from the story of a woman who wore the pelt of a wildcat to witness forbidding hunting rites. The hunters of her village gathered to perform the rites, and she watched from secret from underneath the cat pelts, but was soon discovered. For her indiscretion, she was fused with a pelt and transformed into a creature that was neither human nor cat, forced to wander the wilderness alone, forever, feared by all. Her calls are of those of great sadness and serve as a warning to anyone who dares against the tradition. Wow. Dover says, interestingly, the SK novel Tommyknockers is about supernatural radiation leaking into a small town, mutating the residents. I see. I did not know that. I just remember the movie and the flying weird balls. Yep. The Talipo, a small creature with a long tail and wide eyes. Yeah, the movie Tommyknockers is freaking weird. Ahem. There was a hunter who lived in a tiny cabin in the middle of the woods, all alone with his hunting dog. One night, after a particularly bad week of hunting, both of their stomachs empty, the hunter spied something out from the corner of his eye. Some small creature had gotten into the cabin through the hole, and before he could even figure out what it was, he had drawn his gun and fired at the thing, his hunger guiding his actions. But it was quick, and ran back through the hidey hole, and out of sight, leaving only a long black tail, shot off by the hunter's rifle. "Guess those have to do," he said to his dog, and threw the tail into the pot to cook a soup. He and his dog ate well that night, the tail filling them both up, somehow. The creature crawled into bed. The hunter crawled into bed, satisfied, his dog curled at his feet. He woke up to the sound of long nails scrabbling across the wood. His dog was nowhere in sight. Only a rumpled spot of the covers where he'd been. In the gloom, he saw two big yellow eyes staring right at him. I want my Talibu. Oh, it's a high voice? Oh, okay, let me try that again. I want my Talibu. A high, hoarse voice croaked from the darkness. Go away! He screamed at the thing. But it stepped closer to him, still shrouded in darkness, the sound of long claws across the hardwood accompanying its movements. I want my Talibu. The creature growled again. I'll get my dog after you, the hunter squeaked, his voice catching in his throat with fear, but there was no dog to be seen. I want my Talibu! Before the hunter could so much scream, the creature leapt from the darkness, long claws stretched out to the hunter. No one is sure what the creature did to him that night, but the next morning, all that remained of the hunter, his dog, and his cabin was a chimney standing alone in the woods. I'm done here. I think I'm done here. Let's check in. I hope my voice didn't hurt any of your ears, because I can get rather loud. Alright, if we're gonna go with what Kanika's mom told us last night, I think we can rule out any natural disasters as what brought the Ditchlands here. No nuclear incidents. It looks like our state has a history. But not nuclear incidents. Looks like our state has a history with those. What about y'all? Find anything? Before you can respond, a handsome black cat leaps onto the table. Stella quickly slams her book shut. The Talibu voice was excellently spooky. Thank you. I do my best. Hey there, Pixel. You might want to close your book. He loves to rip up any paper he can find. That's weird. Stella's here, but Gretchen isn't. That's fine, as long as she brought the good stuff. Don't worry, little guy, I didn't forget your treats. Ah, yeah, snack time. Crunch crumps. Sorry if Pixel's bothering y'all. Hopefully he hasn't gobbled up any of our books. Can't stand the thought of that people might pay attention to anything that isn't him. Hey, Pixel. What do you think about the monsters we saw in the woods? I am an indoor cat. I know nothing about the woods. I just hang out in the library, especially now that our house got haunted. Pixel says your house is haunted. What's up with that? How did you know? Mocha's either psychic or she could talk to animals. It's a long story. Just roll with it. Well, we've been living in the library for a little bit. It's been great. Way more snacks. It's been great. Way more snacks. Way more scritches. Except sometimes there's too much scritches. Hold up, what kind of haunting are we talking about here? Unexplained noises? Objects appearing in strange and unfamiliar places? Oscar, don't you get her hopes up like that. Oh, nothing like that, sorry. The floor in my bedroom just keeps seeping blood, and I've seen a strange figure in the hallway a couple of times. Wait, you've seen a full body apparition? Can I see it? Stella, it's probably just a dirty pipe or something. But what if it's a ghost? My goodness, I'm getting a lot here. It's worth looking into. Y'all more than welcome to check it out. Maybe tomorrow night? Yes, we'll be there! Yeah, that sounds like fun way to spend an evening. Can't wait to get spooked by some creaky pipes. Why do you let a paper shredder freely wander the library? Why don't you mind your own business? Have you seen this little guy's face? How can I say no to that? Leave Pixelby. Side leave Pixelby. Cat curls up on the table fast asleep. Alright, I better get back to shelving. Let me know if y'all need anything. Okay, something's... Stella, what was that you were saying about nuclear incidents? You were talking about that old Goldsboro thing, right? Haha, yeah, apparently in the 60s, a B-52 carrying a live warhead broke up midair and dropped a couple of bombs. A fascinating bit of history there. The first of the two bombs landed up right after its parachute got caught in a tree. Thankfully, didn't go off. At the time, the government claimed that the bomb was unarmed, but it later came out that the only thing preventing the detonation was a single electric switch which failed to trigger on descent. And 60 years later, the second bomb still hasn't been recovered. Right. It's a conventional explosive disintegrated in midair, but most of the nuclear material was made unrecoverable by flooding. If I remember correctly, they just buried it and sealed it up. I don't think disarming nuclear bombs is part of our skill set. Absolutely not. Also, Goldsboro is almost 400 miles from here. I think we're good. I'm just saying, you never know with radiation. We actually know quite a bit. Just melts you. Doesn't make monsters. And it's a 60-year-old bomb isn't going to explode on its own 100 miles away and kill us here. You never know. There could always be a whole underground society of bomb-worshipping mutants just waiting to blow it up. I've missed this. How about talk about the veins of Scarlet? So about the coal mines here. Kanika visibly shudders. I get cold sweats just thinking. I get cold sweats just thinking about being in a place like that. I feel sorry for the guys who work up there. I never could. Speak for yourself. I love good crevice. What happened after the coal mine collapsed? The book kind of glosses over that. There was a union for a little bit, but it didn't last. There's not a whole lot written about the past century here. Phrasing, Stella. Hello! Akiatana. Good to see you. Glad that you could join us. Yeah, the Scarlet Hollow mine isn't exactly the most ethically run business. No offense or anything, I'm sure Tabby runs the mine better than Charles Shaw did. Still hasn't let a union in, though. There's a reason she and I... There's a reason she and I don't talk. You guys seem to have a bone to pick with Charles Shaw. That's what happens when someone directly causes a monumental... That's what happens when someone directly causes a monumental disaster, especially in a small town like this. People tend to spit when they hear your name. You got run out of town on a rail, you know. And that's not a figure of speech. Back then, they actually tied a rail and ran you out of town. It's a big mural over in the far wall. It got off easy, if you ask me. A union-busting mine collapse from 4 working editions. Color me shocked. Yeah, it's pretty awful. That's what the sculpture out in front is for. Commemorating all the men and children who died that day. Now I know what's up with that mural, yeah. Every kid in Scarlet Hollow. Oh, Scarlet Hollow was said. Something has to happen. There we go. Knows about the collapse of 1918. Our teachers love to emphasize how many children that had to be working down there. Probably trying to show us how good we have it or whatever. Low bar, if you ask me. You know what could be the ditchlings are warning us about? Another collapse. Writing it down on the list of potential disasters. Yeesh, Stella, that's morbid. And besides, it was all Charles Schultz's fault. The labor market is way more strict now, and there's no way you could get away with that kind of safety cutbacks he pulled. Y'all don't actually think the mine is gonna collapse, right? No, I don't think so. Phew! Had me worried there for a second. I hate to give Tabitha any credit, but the mine is safer now than it was back then. Still, what a horrible thought. You never know. What if the ditchlings are coming from the mines? Maybe there's something down there making people sick and changing them. That wouldn't explain how many ditchlings we saw last night. Like, sure, occasionally a miner goes missing, but we saw dozens of those things. I mean, it's definitely not mutated miners. But what if there's some sort of a parasite down there? Maybe it got into some animals and spread to the woods. Now that I think about it, Wayne's a miner. Maybe that ties him into all this. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's one of the more plausible explanations we got so far. There's an awful lot of mine-related stuff in my notes. Maybe that should be our next stop. We can poke around, find out if anyone's seen anything weird. Just to clarify, you're suggesting we go to question some of the miners, right? We are not poking around and unprepared in actual mines, right? Right? Yeah, totally, 100%. I would never. We don't even have a good reason to go down there. Damn it. Good, let's keep it that way. You know how I feel about mines. You got stuck in a mine, didn't you? And she's partly to blame with it, and that's why you two don't hang out anymore. Or at least not hang out with her cryptid stuff. I promise, Sneaks, we're just gonna go question some of the miners. And if that question gives us a reason to poke around, say a cool abandoned coal mine, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You can cross that bridge when you get to it. I am not going underground. I'm just messing with you. We'll stick to the surface. Okay, good. And hopefully we can find out something's wrong with Wayne while we're at it. I'm sure Tabitha's gonna love that we're snooping around. Same goes for all of us, honestly. I can't think of a single person in town Tabitha would be happy to see. We'll make sure we don't get caught. We'll be super sneaky. I can even look out. Look at us, going on a caper together. I miss this. I miss this too. I mean, sure, it's not under the best circumstances, but I've been so wrapped up in running the store, I didn't realize how much I miss being able to hang out with you. Though, there is something missing. Reese. I really miss that dude. I can't believe how long it's been since we've seen each other. Have you seen him lately? No. I Tried to plan stuff, but he's been too sick. I didn't realize it was getting so bad, that poor guy. You know, we could just pop over and surprise him. Seem excited to meet Mocha. Maybe we'll finally get him to leave his secret little cave. Hell yeah, let's do it. Alright, let's roll out. See ya, Oscar. We'll let you know if you run into Rosalina. Thanks, guys. I'll keep y'all posted. Ahem. I think it's time for me to take a drink. It's a lot of reading. How are y'all doing tonight? There's a couple things that I kind of want to go over loading wise, because there was a couple things that I wanted to ask about. Mom used to tell me that Tally Post story back when I was little. I can't believe I forgot about that one. It scared me so bad I didn't eat soup for years. Thought Monster might try and dig it out of my stomach if I did. Love that one. There's an old chimney in the woods that I used to think about was the chimney from the Tally Post. The one that was left after the thing did whatever to it. Now that I know it's just chimney, that it's just because chimneys don't burn down, and wooden houses do. That doesn't mean it's not the chimney from the Tally Post. I camped there a couple times and have seen some pretty spooky stuff. Yeah, I watched your video. You saw raccoons. You're gonna get rabies one of these days chasing after wildlife like that. What can I say? I like to live on the edge. Wampus cats sound like they could be mountain lions. Voice of a woman crying out somewhere between person size and cat size. Definitely, they're 100% mountain lions. Kanika, you know there are no mountain lions up here. I thought you were supposed to be the skeptic. But the myths are old, right? Mountain lions didn't go extinct in the Appalachians that long ago. Those legends just haven't died off yet. Almost every cryptid can be tracked down to either a hoax or someone getting confused about a perfectly normal animal. Sometimes both. Bigfoot, for example, started as a prank. Then folks saw bears walking around on their hind legs and got freaked out, and now here we are. You'll eat those words when I get the first clear footage of Bigfoot. If you manage that, I'll print a big piece of paper that says Bigfoot isn't real and literally eat it, I promise. I'm holding you to it. Do you think the ditching to Tommy knockers with the whole warning thing? It's a good thought, but Tommy knockers live in mines, and that's like their whole thing. I'm gonna write that down though. Tommy knockers aren't literally just the sounds that happen. Tommy knockers aren't literally just the sounds that happen when a bunch of rocks and wood are about to collapse. Are they? Or are they the sound of mysterious creatures pounding on the rocks and support beams with hammers to cause a collapse? There's simply no way to know. Let's move on. Wanna know a little bit more on some things. What a revisionist biography. Really glosses over all the war crimes to paint a picture of a self-made man. It's a perfect example of why you should use multiple sources for your research instead of trusting the first thing you read on a subject. Yep. Dude was a monster. Sorry you're related to him. This town is stuck in the past and built on atrocities. It's already practically collapsing onto itself. No offense, but Maybe that's why the ditchlings are here. Listen, none taken. Why would the ditchlings be here now, though? Scarlet Hollow! Oh, Scarlet Hollow was said. Been like this for as long as I can remember. Have you had any luck with Rosalina? Not yet. I knew a team would be a handful, but I didn't think it would happen overnight. Probably just head out once you're all done and check our usual haunts. Do you guys think there's like a cult here? Maybe the ditchlings were like summoned as part of a ritual or something like that. I assumed the spiral we found was some sort of nest made by ditchlings, but yeah, maybe we had a cause and effect backwards. I'm writing it down. It's much more likely that the thing was a nest than it was some sort of magical ritual site. Do you think Wayne factors into any of this? I honestly wouldn't be shocked. There's something seriously wrong with him. Like, I can viscerally feel it in my guts. Maybe he's sick. Maybe that has something to do with what you saw in the woods. I don't know. I'd buy it. Not sure I agree with the whole collapse angle, but the mines seem important. The whole town is built around them. Yeah, that's fair. They're bound to be relevant in some way. Hard to argue against that, but doesn't really give us much to go on. And just because something seems obvious doesn't necessarily mean it's right or relevant. We should check out the mines. Between Wayne and the old collapse, the fact that the whole town's practically built around them, it seems like the smartest place to start. Good idea. I'm a bit more satisfied with that. Gotten to talk a little bit more with them. Alright. Hey y'all, if you're a bit confused with what happened at the end there, I just like went back a couple of times and asked more questions and chose a few more options that I wanted to go with to explore with the characters, because I wanted to learn more about the club thing that we're having. Hope you'll join us next time as we explore with Reese, hopefully.